Hey everybody, this is Jonathan, Las Vegas Collectibles. Happy holiday. Honestly, my family, we don't celebrate any of the holidays in in the aspect of theme or whatever. Uh, we don't even do it at Christmas. We don't do anything. We don't do Halloween. We don't Easter. Nothing. Um, we have our own personal reasons for all that. But I work for the feds, right? So I'm a federal employee. That's my 9 to 5, and we get paid holidays. And there's almost one holiday every month. There's like 1 or 2 months where there's not, but then there's some months where there's more than one. So like we get like 12, 13 paid days off a year, and this is one of them. So love it. I believe it's Columbus Day, which has also been dubbed Indigenous Peoples Day, obviously because of the times we live in. We have to celebrate all things, and so it causes a lot of changes in our culture, right? So, whatever your opinions are about that, it is what it is. And actually, shout out to I want to do a shout out really quick. So, if you out of this whole video, me just talking about whatever, check this out. Like honestly, spend a couple seconds and look this dude up. Amazing hip hop. Truly love the music. And then it's so beautiful, his message and the way he presents and communicates his music and his messages. Love it. Shout out to Superman. All right, check him out. So I, day off, right? Chilling, trying to post stuff online for sale, going over my thoughts, hanging out with the wifey, making breakfast. I decided I'm gonna catch up on some YouTubes, right? Some content creators. And so I saw a few videos, and I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about something. So I'm gonna respond to a couple of these things with my perspective. It's not going to be my holistic perspective. I'm not going to go on for 2 hours, hopefully, but want to throw out some opinions, right? And maybe you'll get something out of it. Maybe you'll get a different perspective, and that'll help you add to your perspective, which will help you hopefully make better decisions. Also, the more information you got before you make a decision, that's my goal, right? I don't care what your decision actually ends up being, right? I don't. It has nothing to do with me. That's your choice. It's your decisions to make. So I just hopefully will be able to put out some information where it might help you see something in a different way. That's my goal, right? That's the goal of this channel. Welcome, Las Vegas Collectibles. It's what we do here now, right? That's primarily our focus is sharing information, advocating for access to information, and providing different perspectives, and then just showing you what I'm up to. That's basically what this channel is all about. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So, Sports Card Dad. If you haven't seen or heard of him, he's all over the hobby. He's doing great things. Good for him. I'm super happy for him. Again, another content creator. I don't fully agree with what he says. I don't fully agree with what he does, but valuable perspective. And so he put out a a video. Are sport card investors dumb to get out of the market now? And I was like, all right. So I clicked it. Total clickbait, and that's fine. It's part of what we do, right? You gotta have content with titles that grab people's attention, and he even says it, and it worked. So I got, first of all, no hate on somebody doing clickbait, because that's kind of the purpose of all of this, right? What's the point of making content if you're not getting anybody's attention? So here you go. So, like, just want to get that out of the way. Like, he even says it. Like, I think in the video he even says, "I'm just trying to get your attention." Like, it makes sense. So, first of all, clickbait stuff, I'm all about it. It's cool. It serves a purpose. If it drives people to watch your channel, make it happen. I wish I had the time, the ability, the skill set to do fun, awesome thumbnails, right? Because, like, man, gets people's attention. I'm trying to work within my limits and get better at it, but I'm not there yet. But he goes on to say, he's really just bringing attention to things versus sharing a concrete opinion. It's almost like it's political, right? Like, you ever see a politician up on a stage somewhere and they just talk about stuff? Maybe they mention a couple ideals that they might share in like the ideal of a certain situation, but they don't really talk about one, two, three, like what the plan is or anything. So I think that's the majority of content creators. They don't talk about like concrete things. They're not very transparent about stuff. They don't really talk about. It's very political, right? It's like watching politicians talk. So he goes through that. He brings attention to Jeff Wilson's video, which I ended up going to see. So he did a great job because he brought that up. I went to go look at it. So I mean, it all feeds itself, right? And that's part of the things that I say in other videos where like a lot of content creators say the same things, and it's like an echo chamber, and it's like they're all just, it's like it's almost like it's orchestrated together. It's like, do they have meetings? Like, watching enough content on YouTube from the same genre, right? Like collectibles, you start to understand why, like, back in like the 1600s, 1700s, all throughout mankind's existence, there becomes a group of people that have conspiracy theories, right? The belief that there's a cult or like like a secret organization behind the screens, because it's weird. They're all saying the same stuff. You're like, you guys have to be emailing to each other or something. Or back in the day, like, you guys must be meeting in dark rooms in secret with candlelight or something, So it's kind of funny because a lot of it's repetitive. And you start thinking like, are they wearing secret like power decoder rings together on the weekends? So anyways, he goes on and talks about, well, even at the end, I think he even says like he invested in a cheeseburger. So like, and he even mentions like some people are going to say like these aren't investments. And so like he addresses a lot of the potential controversy or like contrarian perspectives to what he's talking about, but he himself doesn't really like go into detail about anything. He does mention, again, not going into, does mention like, hey, you should be financially stable before you do all this stuff. Like, it's a real quick, like 5-second little boom. Like, what he doesn't really define any of that. He doesn't really lay out how to do things. And so I wanted to address a little bit of that. I even put in his comment box, like, thanks for bringing up the topic. I hope people truly start doing analysis for the personal, should say their personal situation. That's me just being dumb. Personal situations, and not a comparative analysis against what shiny stuff other people have. So like, I'm thankful that he's bringing stuff up. His audience space is huge, right? And unfortunately, like I said, he doesn't go into detail. So I'm trying to like put clues in there, trying to drive him to think about, hey, maybe I should talk about these things. I'm one person. He probably, look, there's 34 comments on his video. Will he make any of that actionable? I doubt it. But, I'm also trying to drop nuggets like, hey man, maybe talk about these things. Like, I'm dropping like some fancy terminology. Not that I'm a financial person at all. I'm just a dude. But like, maybe he'll discuss what a comparative analysis is, right? I don't know. So anyways, I find these videos from content creators that are just about nothing kind of annoying. And so I wanted to respond to what he was saying in here. First of all, he titles the video Sports Card Investors, and then he talks about different opinions about sports card investing. So what is a sports card investor, right? And I brought this up in a previous video. I think I've mentioned it multiple times. Like, everybody defines investor and investing in their own way. So do you have fun? It's America, or it's a free world. And if you're not in a country where you're allowed to be free, there are options. You can move, right? And if you ever get to the point where you think America's not free enough, there are options. You can move, right? So I think a lot of people feel like they have this, oh, I'm stuck here. My family was here. My family name was here, I still rent out of an apartment my parents rented out of, so I have to be here. Like, what? No, it's your life. Do what you want. You only got so many years on this planet. If you want something that's somewhere else, go there. The border, the southern border of America, where people are just coming in, and you see the videos, and you see people going down there, and just like random YouTube people like filming people coming over the border, and they're just talking to them, and they're like, yay, they're so... those people didn't feel free where they were, and they wanted to try and find something better. Like, that is the most basic, fundamental way of explaining what I'm talking about. Like, if you don't feel free in your situation and you want to pursue something different, there are millions of examples of people like saying, screw this, I'm out, peace, walk out and just start walking until they go somewhere where they feel like they got more freedom. So, like, when it comes to defining investor or any terminology or anything else, do you, okay? Do you. But I just recommend you take in as much information as you can before. Oh, I almost dropped one of my cameras. Take in as much information as you can before you start taking actions. You know, try to make the best educated decision you can by taking in as many perspectives as possible. That's all. So anyways, he talks about sports card investors, right? So if you are investing in sports cards, you need to tell yourself, you need to write, I don't care, write it down on a post-it, put it on your computer, put it on your box of cards, something. What is the goal? Right? What is the goal? Like, okay, see this? This card's worth 0 pennies. It's the So Shiny Magic the Gathering Modern Horizons 2 squirrel. He's got his big eyes on the shiny little this, I was opening a Modern Horizons 2 set box, whatever the hell I was opening, and my wife was in the room, and it was like the second or third box that I opened, and she just happened to walk in when I pulled this card out, and she freaking thought it was so freaking cute. Made me realize how cute this damn card was. The fact that it's named So Shiny, and it's a squirrel with a shiny little nut, you know, like squirrel trying to get a nut, and it's shiny, and it's like, ooh, my precious. It's like Golem in My Precious, right? Like, so this, the goal of me holding on to this is nostalgia. It's so in 50 years from now, when I look at this, I will remember my wife thinking how cute this squirrel was. That's it. That's the goal of this, right? The goal of this, same thing. The reason I didn't grade these is because at the time when I put them into these semi-rigids, which are horrible, hate semi-rigids. If you don't know anything about my product, I make archival products. Anyways, the goal of this was also nostalgia. It was my first cold foil out of the flesh and blood craziness that went on last year, 2021 and 2022. So, like, those have, I'm going to hold on to those for the rest of my life, but those have no purpose. The goal of those, nostalgia, period. Write it on a post-it, put it on a box saying nostalgia box, whatever it is. If you have a bunch of cards that you believe you're investing into, define what that means for you. That's all I'm recommending you do. Define what that means to you. If you have a box of a bunch of one, I don't know, basketball rookie cards, and you believe it's an investment, define it. Just define it. I don't care if your definition of that is you put on the post-it investment lot of rookie cards, and then you put what that means. 10% over the next 12 months. 50% over the next 5 years. Whatever it is. Write the goal. Just write it. It becomes real. Like when you see it and you put it on paper and you have it attached to something, it becomes real. So, like, oh my God, I opened up a box of 26 comic books yesterday from CGC. 26 9.8. It's 100%. Batting 100%. Amazing. Batting 1,000, I believe is the actual terminology. So my dumb butt put them, like, stacked them all up next to the camera. You see that? I broke the case. I broke the case on one of the most valuable freaking comic books. Virgin variant, Vampirella Strikes. Stupid. So I dropped the stack and this one just shattered the corner. But you know what my goal of this is? I bought the book and then I graded it. I can put a sticker on it, but I don't need to because I have this mentality already. My goal with that is 10%. My grading fees plus the cost of the book is roughly roughly $30. Oh, I just broke my freaking mic screener. How do I fix that? I don't even know. But my goal of that is 10%. All books, so that's the Virgin variant. This one is The one with the trade dress, same image, same book, right? All the things that I grade, the purpose is to make between 5 and 10%. I've said that on my videos multiple times. I have a defined goal. So if that book increases, what's 10% of $30? 30, $35 for that one. For this one over here, the price of that one is roughly the price of the grading fee, so $20. Because the price of that book was like less than $1, the price of this book was roughly $15. So you have to define your goals. Mine, 5 to 10%. What does that mean? On a book that cost me, let's round up $35. What is 10% at the high end, right? Because it's 5 to 10%. What is 10% of $35? $3.50. So that means I have to sell on eBay for roughly $45 because after fees and more fees because of eBay, I'll be left with roughly $38.50. That's it. So if I can hit and define the length of time. So my goal is 10% within 12 months. So if I can hit the 10% goal in 1 month, it's done. The whole point of me investing in that is done. Now, boom. Okay, so I define my investment, what that term means for me. I make it concrete. There's no subjectivity. That's what it is. And so I urge everybody to do that. Now, I have a 9-to-5 job, like I said. I have an investment account. So every month, automatically out of my paycheck, right? So I don't even, it's passive. In my mind, it's called passive. Like a lot of people will define investment strategies all kinds of ways. It's passive to me because I don't physically have to do anything. It takes zero effort or time out of my life to invest. So I call it passive. So every time I get a paycheck, 5% of my paycheck goes into what I call a retirement account. The federal government matches 3%. If you put in 5, they match 3, right? If you put in 3, they match like 2. It's like it's a scale system. So every single paycheck, I have 8%, 5% out of my paycheck, and then the government gives me a free 3%. 8% goes into a retirement account. That investment account I also defined. That whole purpose of that investment account is so when I die, because I'm going to die much younger than my wife. I'm not older than my wife by much, 4 years, but I have a whole lot of medical problems from the military. I'm a couple dilutions away from being officially with lupus. Like I got all kinds of, I'm going in for jaw surgery soon because my bones are just crushing on each other. And every word I say is, it's constant. I got migraines all the time. Like I am totally good. I've had all 6 anthrax boosters. Totally going to die younger than my wife. So when I die, the investment account, it's called a TSP, by the way, for the retirement account, which is an investment, that is defined. It is to provide a stable monthly income for my wife when I die. I have life insurance. She'll get paid out for, I think it's a year because I have disabilities from the military. So like the house should be paid off. I will not die until my house is paid. I will it to happen. So she always has a place to live. And then she will live off. So like that account, the purpose of it is defined. Some people put money away passively and they don't understand why. They don't have a purpose behind it. It's not intentional. There's no intentionality with it. I urge you to define investments per item, per account, per thing, whatever it is you're doing. I also, so like I got that, I got, collectibles. I also have singles. So I have a Coinbase and I have a what's the other one? Public. investment accounts. So I have stocks and I have crypto, and I put money into those every month. I put in at least $100 into stocks and about $50 to $100 into crypto every month. The purpose of those accounts are defined. I consider those investments as well. All of these are examples of investments. So my purpose of those accounts, those investments, are in 20 years when my house is paid off. We will use all the money that's in the public account and the Coinbase account. So the stocks and the crypto that I just pass it, that's active. I actively invest in those every month. I'm going to use that money as a down payment for a second house or land or water rights or mineral rights or something, right? The purpose of those accounts is defined to be when the house is paid off, hopefully in 20 years, I have enough money to either put down as a down payment on a second house or enough money to buy a piece of land or enough money, the whole, it's defined. Defined is buy a second asset where we can enjoy. So like maybe it's a piece of land and water rights. I don't know, maybe in Montana, Wyoming, freaking Canada. I don't know. Mexico. I don't know. But the accounts, they have a purpose to build and to grow for 20 years. When the mortgage is done, we'll go and spend that money on another thing, right? Like it's defined. It's a 20-year thing, right? So I just strongly urge you to define things. Don't leave it up to subjective. I'm just investing in Michael Jordan rookie cards. Okay, if that's what you want to do, I have a Michael Jordan CSG 10. It's not a rookie card, but it's a beautiful insert. It's a 1996 metal. I love the card. Do I consider that an investment? I actually do. It's a personal collection item, but it's also an investment. So it's something that I don't want to sell, but I will post it for sale, and I'll price it so high that I believe I'll keep it forever. It's called pricing to keep, which I stole from somebody putting in one of my comment boxes on one of my videos. I stole that term, I stole that phrase, and I love it. So I'm going to price it to keep it. And if somebody actually pays for it, thank you. And I'll just take the money, and unfortunately, I'll say goodbye to my PC item. But I still consider it an investment because, so I define my PC also as investments. My PC is also investments because I'm willing to sell them at a dollar amount, and it's not 10%. It's more like 500%, 1,000%. But I mean, if somebody's willing to offer me 500% of what I paid for something, I'm going to take it. I mean, I'm just going to take it. I don't care. Like everything has a price type of idea, right? And so even though it's PC, I still got a price. Like you could still buy it for me, right? So like that, like PC, I define, right? Like everybody should have a definition for everything. I do have items that I believe will be worth more, especially after my experience, in 20 years than they do now. And I treat those the same way I do my crypto and my individual stock purchasing accounts. Regardless of where the prices are in 20 years, I'm going to sell them. And if I can get, or, a good amount, maybe this is something I need to work on for my definition. So for instance, I believe, can I just grab it? All right, here's an example. Double Masters booster box. 2022, Double Masters 2022 booster box, right? I have a couple of these. I have some of the collector's boxes. I have Modern Horizons 1, that box. I have Modern Horizons 2. I have Dominaria United, like a whole case of collector's boxes. So like these are boxes that I believe in 20 years will be worth more than the money I paid for. I do not have a defined requirement of how much they need to increase before I sell them. I don't. I just believe in 20 years, this will be worth more than what I paid for it. And I will sell it in 20 years when the mortgage is paid off. That's regardless. The same thing with my stocks and my crypto. I would love for my stocks and my crypto to be worth more than the money I put into it in 20 years. I would. But that's not the defined goal of that account. That account is a long-term savings account, and if I make money, great. This is the same goal. It's a long-term savings account where if it's worth more in 20 years, great. But the purpose of this is to sell it in 20 years when the mortgage is paid off and take whatever money I get, whether it's $100, $2, $2,000, doesn't matter. The goal of this is defined. Now, if in between here and there, now and 20 years from now, so 2042, if at one point I need money, not want, I need money, I will start selling my physical collectibles before my stocks and my crypto. Long-term savings account, tangible assets versus intangible assets is how I mentally compartmentalize everything. But it's defined. So I challenge you and I urge you and root you on, by the way, and I cheer for you to do this. Go through what you call investments and define the goal, right? Because you're always going to have people putting out videos with subjective political answers for investors. And they'll use the same terminology for everything. Like, my hat's off to this guy for putting out the video, putting out the information. And, in the beginning, he even acknowledges that everybody defines it differently. And then at the end, he says, I invested in a cheeseburger. So, obviously, he has not clarified what he means by investment and how he uses the term in different ways. But I get what he's saying, but I don't think a lot of people understand what he's trying to say. So, I challenge you, every single item that you have that you think is an investment, define it, write it down on a post-it, stick it to it, and if you ever get the opportunity where that investment that you define hits that stated goal, you take action, you sell it, and you realize that goal. Realize it. This comic book, like I said, I broke it, so I'm going to have to actually re-slab it. And so, the amount of money I put into it is about to double. So let's say I get that back finally, it's re-slabbed. I might wait until the artist starts signing stuff. So that way I get to have a little bit higher of a return on my investment, maybe. But, let's say I send it in today. I'll be into it for $60, $65. So then my 10% goal will be 72, which means I'm going to have to sell it for 85. And if I can, I will sell it and I will realize those gains. I will realize the goal of investing into that book. You get what, right? And it's powerful to see your goals become reality. Now, if it takes 12 months for that book to sell, for me to realize my goal, guess what? That's still my goal, because it's 10% in 12 months. That's the goal. I don't put money into that I need before that. Now, if something happens, a tragedy happens, and I do need that money, I liquidate everything, because tragedy dictates, not investment goals. But anyways, I challenge you, okay, to do that. Now, he's not the only one that brings up this topic and then unfortunately doesn't keep it real, right? So everybody knows sports card investor, this guy Jeff Wilson, he doesn't keep it real. I think he's a glass 3/4 full, right? He's never, not even 3/4, 90% full. This guy is ultimate hype in the hobby, and I don't appreciate it. Honestly, I just don't appreciate it. But you know what it is? I grew up in Los Angeles originally, years ago. It's the same kind of concept, that mentality of just fake. Everything is fake. This dude, I wouldn't trust for a second with anything. He's completely fake. I bet you he doesn't even wear shirts like that. On his days off. He just, everything about him seems fake. So, but he brings it up too, and he has a bunch of political answers, and he's trying to hype up the hobby. The great curator, I guess he was into in the news recently about his Instagram quote unquote meltdown or something like that. And I watched parts of it, and I get what he's saying, man. Like, I get it. He's just frustrated about the situation and everything. And like you're gonna have your opinions about all these people. I just actually resubscribed to the Great Curator because I saw him at the show. I met him a year ago at the show, the Las Vegas Card Show, and I was like, oh man, I haven't seen a video of his in a long time. I logged in, and I was like, oh, I'll subscribe to the dude. I remember when he first started, and he had like 10 followers. So, regardless of what you think of the person or all these people, and by the way, Jeff, super fake, don't like anything about him. However, he said Bo Bichette played on the Dodgers. I remember he was opening like holiday packs last year or something like that for like Christmas, and you could tell he hated every moment of like some of the packs he was opening. He was opening like Marvel or something, and he was just like, "Oh, why am I doing this?" So fake. He's just trying to sell you an app. By the way, the technology in that app is not rare. It's not unheard of. Go to TCG Player Marketplace. It's been there for years. Like, just whatever. It's totally fake. Even though I say all that stuff and I'm critical of him and I don't like him, I do appreciate that he puts out content. Okay, I don't want you to, like, I may not agree with everything the Great Curator says. I may not agree with everything Sportside says, but I appreciate them putting out content because, again, it educates, it provides different perspectives, it allows me to make better decisions and a better understanding of what a lot of people are thinking. Because look at how many views they get, right? So, like, okay, it makes sense. Last thing I'm going to say, I put out a bunch of stuff months ago, 6 months, 7 months, a year ago. Great Curator brought up a topic about ripping Marvel e-packs, the digital packs. And then he talks about how eBay is a one-stop shop where you can buy a physical card and never see that card, basically. It goes into the eBay vault, you list it, and you sell it. Just like ComC, you can just move stuff from one account to another, and you never actually touch the physical product. And I brought that up so long, like 6 months ago. And it was kind of funny listening to him describe what he sees going on. And I'm like, I said the same thing. So yeah, just I think the whole purpose of the vaulting and everything, it's conditioning us all to move forward into digital assets, digital collectibles. I mean, really, if you think about it, that's the most amount of margin any company can possibly get. So all they have to do is maintain a website and then produce one-of-one superfractors, but never actually produce the actual physical card, right? There's no need for printers anymore. It'll just blow margins out of the water, right? So it's like the most companies are incentivized as much as possible to get the new generation of people engaging in the hobby, get them addicted to digital cards. Like, I am addicted to a cell phone video game. It's the Marvel Contest of Champions or whatever. What is it? Marvel Strike Force? I get no tangible benefit from that. I have coworkers that are addicted to their own things like Rise of Empires and like all these other cell phone games, right? Digital currency, digital assets, digital things. It is the future, like 100%. And it's kind of cool that he noticed it and he mentioned it because I really think it's going to happen, right? Like, trading cards as a whole, the focus in like Magic the Gathering arena, the focus for all businesses is to create a digital world where they get to make or reprint intellectual property in a digital space where the cost of their production of a product or a service is so low, but they charge the same amount. Imagine buying the digital product for this and it costs $200, $300 for you to buy it, but they don't have to actually make a freaking box and a bunch of cards and foil stamps and foil this and autographs this and number this, and all they have to do is hire an IT guy to put it on online. It's going to be way less expensive. And so the margins are going to be huge. So that, I think that truly is the future. Anyways, that's my response video. Define investments, guys. Go out there, and if you honestly say that Kobe Bryant rookie card that you have is an investment for you, define what that means. Is that supposed to provide you 3-6 months of living expenses when you turn 62? And then if it is, how do you plan on doing that? Right? Do you truly believe that when you turn 62, let's say you're 25, you turn 62 in 37 years, 37 years, more years than you've been alive? Do you think somebody's going to exist that wants to give you enough money for you to live on for like 2 to 3 months for that Kobe Bryant rookie card? Maybe. Maybe they just want the digital e-pack, right? Maybe they want the metaverse Kobe Bryant 1-of-1 or Superfractor or whatever it is, right? So just think about it, define what you think an investment is, and define what's the process? How are you going to use it? What's the purpose? That's my challenge to all of you. All right. Hope that helps somebody out there. Take care. Have a great holiday weekend.